Good morning, friends. It's Dick again. Good to be with you. Today I need to fill you in on a background of a girl who came to live with us. And through her, God did so much, showed us so much. A very key part of when we were in Greenwood. I keep getting mixed up. But let me begin. First of all, the same lady from the church that wanted me to meet her son, who was a policeman in Greenwood, that same lady we were close to. And anyway, she called us one day and said, my granddaughter has come to live with me, but I'm not able to really take care of her. She has needs that I can't meet. Theresa was about 20 years old. She had a son who was about 4 years old, but the son lived with the grandmother of or the mother of the father of the child. She had been on LSD for years, a chain smoker, and now was trying to go without drugs. And she couldn't be at her home in Columbia because, first of all, it was an ungodly home. The mother had serious emotional problems. She had two younger brothers, and the father didn't want her in the home. He was afraid that she would influence the kids, the younger kids. So the only place when she was trying to straighten up that she could go was to her grandmother's. But to be honest, she was an adult woman, but at times she acted more like a 12-year-old. I remember Rick one time saying, Dad, what's wrong with her? The kids liked her. But anyway, the grandmother said, would you take her? We talked about it, we prayed, and we decided we would. We didn't, I don't know where she slept at first, but as soon as she got there, we started fixing up a room in the basement. I remember somebody helping me. We put paneling on the wall in this little room and made a nice little bedroom. It wasn't perfect, but after some of the places she'd lived while she was on drugs, it was wonderful. So she would eat with us, and for a long time she just stayed with us. I mean, I say a long time, for 3 or 4 weeks. After she came, it was more like an adjustment. She didn't know us. She was nervous. She would wring her hands, or she had been a chain smoker, and she was getting over that too. And she was a mess. I mean, she was really a mess. But God had given us a word, and I want to read it. It was from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1 through 3, and then 4 and 5. But the way I'm going to read it is we adjusted it just kind of to fit her. So let me read it like we felt the Lord was saying. Theresa, you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of the world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience, among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath like the rest of mankind. And that's the way she had been. But then verse 4 starts with, But God. I love that. But God. Being rich in mercy because of the great love which he loved you, Theresa, even when you were dead in your trespasses, is going to make you alive together with Christ. By grace you will be saved. That was the way we saw those verses for her. By grace she was going to be saved. Now she had grown up, I think her parents went to a Methodist church some, so she knew a little bit about the Lord, and her grandmother was a strong believer, but she personally did not know the Lord, and she didn't really know much about his ways. So she, as I said, came to live with us. And it was sometime in early 1976. I was beginning my last semester of seminary. This one story now. I was studying one night. It was probably about 12 o'clock. And she comes up from the basement. Something's wrong, something's wrong. And the way our house was, you could go from the dining room into the living room, around the living room, into the kitchen, and into the dining room. And she just kept going around and around. I was following her, she was almost running. And I said, Theresa, what's wrong? She said, something's wrong, something's wrong. And she grabbed the phone. Our phone was on the one of those wall phones, if you remember those things, in the kitchen. And she grabbed it, and before I could even stop her, she called her daddy in Colombia. And this was like 12, or a little after 12 at night, and said, is something wrong there? And he said, no, go back to bed. Not very nice, which kind of can understand. So I finally got it to sit on the couch in the living room. And I sat across from her, and I was she was wringing her hands, almost hurting herself. And she had, in the past, done things to hurt herself, too. That was another one of her problems. So I said, Theresa, and while she was sitting there, there was a picture over on the back, up on the wall behind the couch, of a pastoral scene. Actually, I still have that. It's in the house next door to where our office is. And it had shiny glass. We saw it someplace, bought it cheap, but we really liked the scene. And while I was talking to her, I saw the reflection of a dark object without particular form passed behind me and reflected off the picture. It frightened me, to be honest, but I instantly saw she didn't see it. It was demonic. And from where she had been, we weren't surprised to know that demonic forces were still after her. She had been in bad places. So I saw this form, and I realized she didn't see it, but I knew it was present. So I began to talk about the blood of Jesus protecting us. I even sung some songs about the blood of Jesus. And I don't sing well, as many of you know. But as I did that, as I started talking about the blood of Jesus protecting us, and asking the blood of Jesus, the power of God, to be over her and protect her, protect us, she just began to relax. And as I continued doing this, I had the Bible. I read some scriptures. Within about 5 minutes, she went sound asleep on the couch. I put a blanket over, and she slept there the rest of the night. We knew that we were going to have a lot of battles, not with her, but for her, and for her coming to Christ and getting free of drugs. She never took any drugs in our home. After that time, she never did, but after having been an addict, and you could see where she even shot things in her arm, we knew that we had work to do, as if we didn't have anything else to do. But it was going to be a wonderful time with her. We still talk about her, think about her, but I've got a lot more stories to tell you. How God used her really to help train us. We ended up helping her, obviously, but she also was what God used to further our education in Greenwood, South Carolina. God bless you. Have a great day. Love you guys.